truly brought forth a sense of serenity at Nanba Prison. The chill made the inmates snuggle deeper into their blankets, which meant less breakouts. Number 15. With the exception of one this winter wonderland night. Hi, Hajime. Hajime Sugoroku was in no mood for bullshit tonight. His stomach was in knots after this morning's meeting he had with the warden. Hey, Hajime. Last thing he wanted was to play chase with one of his regular escape artists. He cracked his knuckles, ready for a pummeling. What did I tell you about leaving your cell, inmate? But number 15, Jugo, for once didn't look scared or whine. But he wasn't emotionless either, like he had been the last couple weeks. In fact, he stayed in place as Hajime came closer, fist raised high in the air, just moments away from colliding into soft flesh. Can you take me Christmas shopping? That gloved hand was only centimeters away, only to stop just before impact. Huh? Hajime decided, against his better judgment, to drag the boy to his office. Here's some tea, sir. Seiteru watched the two nervously behind his tray. As per usual, his supervisor looked annoyed as he tapped his arms across with the cigarette in his mouth. So let me get this straight. Those pretty boy eyelashes turned towards the papers stacked neatly on the desk. Some of the papers had unique handwriting. You want to go Christmas shopping for your idiot cellmates? The two-eye-colored teen nodded. Yep. I gave the paperwork for permission to Yamato, but he couldn't read it, so he told me to wait for you. Hajime grumbled as he overlooked the papers, still scowling at the boy. Why the hell do you care? Christmas isn't even a national holiday in Japan. Jugo turned away, his gaze lowering a bit. Both Seiteru and Hajime paused, watching him fidget. This wasn't some act of him being sneaky. They spent enough time with him here at Nanba to know that Jugo was someone who didn't show weakness or nervousness outside of his cell, even with his friends. They do. Apparently, Christmas is a big thing where they live. So I thought... Seiteru started to tear up at the sweet blush forming on Jugo's face. Hajime kept his expression blank, even as the 16-year-old scratched his head in frustration. Never mind. Forget it. Suddenly, Jugo snatched his papers away before leaving. Number 15? No one could stop him from walking out. Not that Hajime even tried to. His scowl vanished, replaced with a contemplated look. Sir? Both men jumped when Yamato smashed the door open, laughing. I have returned from training! Has Jugo spoken to you yet? Hajime proceeded to shake the still laughing Yamato. Stop making my job harder! 2 days went by, and Rock, Uno, and Nico all noticed their friend feeling down. Jugo laughed and interacted with them like usual, especially when they did their usual breakout attempts. But they could tell something was up. Whenever he thought they weren't looking, they'd notice his expressions and eyes change. Thankfully, those eyes never turned red, like when his arms transformed, but he seemed more somber, sad even. Though, despite questioning, he never said a word of whatever was bothering him. Number 15, you have a visitor. Everyone, Jugo included, looked up at Hajime in confusion. What? Everyone knew Jugo never had visitors. It wasn't like he had any family or precious friends outside of Nanba. And even if he did, Nanba was a tight, super-secret security prison. That demanded a lot of paperwork and permission. Hurry up already. Not that Hajime seemed to have cared about how ridiculous this statement sounded to them, all as he just grabbed his inmate by the collar before slamming the door shut, leaving while dragging Jugo in tow. Everyone became concerned as they shouted out their questions, demanding answers. Their answers were ignored, leaving them all, both literally and figuratively, in the dark. Hajime wasn't sure or not if he regretted this. This way, Jugo. The next store has the best beauty products. That should be perfect for Uno. Hajime regretted his decision immensely. He should have known better than to call upon his brother for help. He sighed for what felt like the 20th time in the last 5 minutes. Hey, slow down. Wasn't like he really had a choice in the matter. Couldn't trust Yamato to this. Wouldn't surprise him if that all that came back was training equipment. And Setoru, though was a good employee who was on decent terms with Jugo, wouldn't be reliable in handling things if something went wrong. So, though it dismayed him to no end, Hajime took on the role of babysitter to both his brother and inmate. At least, it would only be for a few hours. Jugo has a very light complexion, so this should be perfect for him. Plenty of time to get what the kid needed and get back without issue. Oh, and this one too! So long as his brother didn't buy out the whole mall. We're on a budget, Hitoshi. He told him, repeatedly, that number 15 would only get a set allowance for gifts, and that was only happening if the kid promised to do extra work in the woodwork facility. A deal the 13th building officer was actually surprised Jugo accepted. Don't be mean, it's Christmas time, said brother pouted at Hajime, feeling absolutely betrayed for a moment. And besides, that pout disappeared, shifting into a smug grin when Hitoshi presented his purse, wrapping an arm around Jugo all the while. I brought my pocket money today, so money is of no issue. That painful coil on Hajime's stomach returned. It was going to be a long night. And what about Rock? The black-haired prisoner looked at his list, looking far more lively than Hajime had ever seen him. He likes food. Good food. They traveled around the floors, going up and down the escalators. Hitoshi stuck his tongue out at the fruitcake displays before steering them in another direction. Hitoshi, we have a professional cook in the prison. Skip him and move on to Nico. Hajime sighed again, relieved when, for once, his brother listened to him. Though that didn't shorten the time, or money, or gifts spent at the mall. Not too long after his comment, Hajime tuned the pair out, instead keeping a lookout for any creeps who thought his brother was a girl they could hit on. Of course, with not paying attention to them, he was ignorant to the amount of things the two, Hitoshi, got until it was too late, with his cross-dressing sibling refusing to relinquish a single present. They had made it to the counter and finished their purchases with only minutes to spare before the deadline. Thanks for letting me help you, Jugo. Merry Christmas. See you at home, big bro. All Hajime knew was that number 15 better fulfill his end of the deal, or this Christmas was going to end in bruises. Merry Christmas! A beautiful tree decorated the tip to trunk, shimmered and twinkled in the early morning as Nico, Uno, and Rock dragged their friends and guards into the room. They had their special Christmas breakfast, and now, by permission of the warden, all of the building officers and prisoners got to celebrate together. Woohoo! Presents! What startled most, if not all, of the guards of Namba prison was just the ridiculous amount of presents under the tree. It was custom for each guard and convict to get one present, and if anyone wanted to buy more, then they could. But again, ridiculous. Hajime sighed, already knowing what was to come. Hey, look! To Nico, from Hajime, Jugo, and Hitoshi. Oh, thank you, Jugo! As expected, Nico, Uno, and Rock all tackled their cellmate with teary eyes, absolutely touched. But it made no sense why they weren't opening all the other ones. Number 15 picked up a present, offering it to Setoru, before doing the same to Yamato, then the monkey? Here. One by one, Jugo handed out presents to everyone in the prison, friends and rivals alike, to their cellmates. Guards, both that he knew and did not. He even gave one to the warden through Mitsuru. Here, Hajime. Merry Christmas. Even he, the stone-cold workaholic bald man, was touched as he took his present. He opened it, smiling slightly to himself at the new durable wallet that matched work regulations with his uniform. There were even a few $20 bills in there. Thanks, kid. truly was a Merry Christmas, as Juko promised that he would work for the amount of money he spent, which was essentially none. What the hell were you thinking, Hitoshi? Because Hitoshi, so inspired by Juko's selfless request, promised to pay for any and every present, so hyped up on the season of giving that he wanted to buy something for everyone at his brother's job, which led him to running out of money, which in turn meant he went into his brother's bank account and used up a good 80% of his elder sibling's savings. I'm sorry!